group so far?
Well, I think so far, after 2 practices, we got a lot of details to clean up, and that's what spring ball is about. Spring ball is about, detailing the fundamentals. But a good start. I mean, we've got a lot of improvement that's got to happen, and like I said, we really got to focus on the fundamentals of football through this spring.
Will Rogers had mentioned that the only time he had taken an under center snap was on a QB sneak in a high school game. I guess, how do you think he's handling the transition to a different offense?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't taken an under center snap yet in practice, but we are working on it every day, and trying to get those guys comfortable with quarterback center exchange every day before we actually do it out here. So a lot of guys like to classify and go, oh, this is a pro style offense, and this is that. You're going to be on 22 personnel and you're going to be under center running power I. And 98% of the games played in the shotgun, but we will get under center some.
Speaking of transition, these offensive linemen, completely different scheme from what they ran before. I mean, so tight end shifting around. There's a lot for those tackles to absorb. How do you think that install's going so far?
Yeah, we are trying to take the install really slow for those guys because it is different, right? Everything that we're asking them to do is a little bit different from the air raid. And from fundamental stuff, stance, right, just our splits. So we're conscious of that and trying to make sure that we're going slow with our install and really being detailed with every little piece of the game, right, for those offensive linemen.
Speaking about the offensive line, Cole Smith going back to center. How have you liked him these first couple of days?
Yeah, I think Cole, he's a gritty, tough player, man. I love his attitude. He's got some real leadership to him as well, and a pretty sweet haircut.
Notice you had guys like Jacoby Belazar and Xavier Thomas playing multiple spots. How are they handling that? Because obviously, under the last staff, you played one spot and that was it. But I've seen those guys move around a good bit. How are they kind of balancing all that?
Yes, sir. I think there's a learning curve for everybody in the offense. But I think, especially for those receivers, we get in so many different formations, and that's part of the offense is, not allowing a guy to get stuck in one spot. We move guys around in order to try to create matchups. But I think they're handling it well. Obviously, the first 2 days, it's never what you want it to be, and it's sloppy, and there's fundamental things that got to get cleaned up. But I think generally they've handled a whole lot of offense in a short amount of time pretty well. Now the key is going back, and we kind of get them in the right spots, and get them to here and this. We need you at this depth. Now it's about detailing those routes and at the top of the routes and where I need you to be from a landmark standpoint.
Working on too loose passing a little bit more.
Yeah, we got to work on all those receivers' arms. It's funny because I always ask every receiver room, hey guys, can you throw? Can you throw? Who can throw? And never once have I ever had a receiver tell me that he can't throw. All receivers can always throw the football.
How much scouting, perhaps, did you do in preparation, as far as like self-scouting Mississippi State, even though the concepts, some of them carry over, but many of them are different, and what benefit did you draw from that?
I did a little bit of I went back and I watched our defense last year, and I watched our defense play against Alabama and against Ole Miss and against A&M, and to just kind of get a feel. We do so many things defensively. Our defense flies around, man. They are fast. It's a hard defense to prepare for, especially spring ball day number 1 and day number 2, because there's so many moving parts. But I think in the long run, that makes you a better team because you've already gotten all the exotic looks and pressures that you're going to, potentially see throughout a season. So when you do get to a normal 4-down team, right, the picture gets real nice and clean and easy.